It's just an interesting observation out of Australia that we had a target of essentially 40 gallons per person per day for internal and external use. Where it's particularly interesting for us in our work is that teenagers are no longer leaving the home in their teens. They're staying until around about 28 to 30, if we're lucky, we get them out. But they are the highest user of water in Australia. And it is approximately at least twice as long in the shower. So we're finding very high water uses in a family of 3 or 4, and that's going for years. This is despite all of the education programs where the elderly and the juniors are actually listening to it. The teens and young adults are not. They just keep using the water.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I found interesting looking at our homes is, I had one family where the teenagers are high school age, and any houses where that was the age group for teenagers, it tended to be the biggest water users in terms of shower length. The shower flow rates tended to be pretty consistent among the houses, but the length for the teenagers went much longer. The worst one happened to be in the family where the adults took camping showers at 3 or 4 minutes. So that was kind of curious. Although I did find one of the houses, on an average basis, the adults took longer shower than the kids. So there is huge variation, particularly in terms of habits, in terms of how people use the products. And so that's one of the things as we do our qualitative feedback sessions and so forth. We want to see down the road as we get to phase 2, does that have any effect on changing any behaviors or not? I'm not sure that it will, but it would be interesting to see what happens as we take a look at that. Trying to figure out what kind of feedback mechanisms can actually change behavior is, I think, going to be real crucial in the long run to us.
Doug Bennett from the Southern Nevada Water Authority, and I noticed you had a bunch of incidents where it was like 1 second. So you had these, what was that? And I was thinking about my behavior, and I like to think I'm conscious about conserving resources, but when I shave or brush my teeth, I become left-handed. And so I'm kind of curious, did anybody ever look at the propensity, especially with hot water being on the left side, do left-handed people have more of a propensity just to use the hot water faucet, even if they don't want hot water? And could some of those draws of hot water simply be somebody who has something in their right hand at the moment? The toothbrush, the razor, and they're just simply rinsing, rinsing, rinsing. And I'll have to watch myself when I get home, but I think I may do that. So perhaps that accounts for some of it.
Yeah, your razor blade will last longer in cold water, Doug. Just a tip.
I'll do the crossover. I'm going to work on it.
I guess we're going to have to make left-handed or right-handed faucets instead. So.
Anything else? Anyone else? All right. Thanks, Greg.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for participating in the Emerging Technology Symposium. Very informative presentation. Wanted to ask you about what do the findings say about the green movement at the present and for the future?
Well, I think there's opportunities in the particular study that we done and I was talking about. We haven't done phase 2 yet, which is to go and make some changes in the homes. The key was to get a couple of months of good baseline data so we could get a good average setting, and now we're going to go ahead and introduce some changes. We're going to try, as I said, some recirculation pumps where we know there were long waits for hot water. We're going to do some different flow rates. We're going to try some touch faucets. In a couple of cases, we have a division that's very interested to know, is there water savings when you can touch on and off a faucet, or whether there's a proximity. I think in one case I know that there's going to be some water savings because in the lavatory the husband turns the water on full hot and leaves it on for 5 minutes while he's shaving to rinse his razor. And that uses about 5 gallons of hot water. So if I could put a proximity or a touch unit off that he can turn it on, but it'll turn off by itself, then I think that'll reduce a lot of that waste. So I think there are some really good opportunities, but we've got to learn a lot really about what can be achieved, and we need to know a lot more about behavior and what kinds of feedback can affect that, because people's behavior is has a much bigger factor in water use than just the things we're doing to reduce consumption with restrictors.
Right, and that kind of leads into my next question. I was going to ask about the new innovations that are coming out, and just maybe a two-part question. First of all, how much is just the prevalence of the products change behavior or influence behavior, just knowledge and knowing that these products exist, and then how much do the products themselves affect behavior?
Well, that's what we want to find out, because we really don't know. I mean, ideally we could design products where they will give the user an increased satisfaction and kind of reward them for changing their behavior. I don't know whether we can do that or not, but it would be really a neat home run if we could.
Right. I mean, now, is it a situation where if people just knowing that the products are out there, that we are trying to save water through products, that they're more conscious and will just take it upon themselves to change their behaviors?
I think we need to communicate with them. There's education that needs to happen. There needs to be a better awareness. How do we get people's attention? Now, there are people who are very interested in green products that they want to use throughout their life, so they have chosen a specific lifestyle. I don't think that's the mainstream in the public at this point. So over some period of time, with all the things that are going on with energy, if we can get as much publicized about the issue with water and how much we have and how we need to reuse it and so forth, then I think that'll happen. But I think it's going to take a while. It may be a lot more evolutionary than revolutionary.
What can you just tell me in general about the event so far and your thoughts on its value and merit?
I've really enjoyed it. I wasn't able to come to the last one, and I'm learning a lot. It's good to network with the different people that are involved in the industry and trying to work this issue. So I think that's very good. And the more we can network and the more research we can get going in to help feed what we're doing, then the better off we're going to be. So I think this is really a great event.